All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Welcome to another 2021 MLB Draft Show. And tonight we are joined by a guy from Colorado. We never talk to guys from Colorado. A little bit of West Coast flair here. We've got Cale Lansville out of Centennial, Colorado, and Thunder Ridge High School. Cale, welcome to the show, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. I want to just kind of throw the floor to you. Why don't you introduce yourself to viewers as a baseball player, as a pitcher, anything that you find important about your game?
Yeah, well, I guess first off, my name is obviously Cale Lansville, and I'm a senior at Thunder Ridge High School. Looking forward to obviously this spring season because with the pandemic, obviously we didn't get a season last year, so I'm just looking forward to my spring season and getting that started. And I'm really looking forward to that.
How about on the mound? Kind of introduce yourself, your pitch mix, what your fastball is up to, how you like to attack hitters with off speed. Kind of tell us what kind of guy you are on the bump.
Yeah, on the mound, I'm kind of a different guy. I'm super competitive, coming right at you. My best stuff every time I'm out there. I throw 4 pitches. I throw fastball, changeup, slider, curveball. And I really think one of my strengths is my pitchability with all those pitches and understanding the metrics of those pitches, but also just understanding that it's 6 feet 6 inches away, and I'm going to compete and win, and that's who I am. That's what I'm going to do is outcompete and outwork the competition, and I feel like those are some of my strengths.
So I know the fastball is 94, 95 at its best. What's your best breaking ball? How do you like to deploy that?
Yeah, I think all of my off-speed pitches go hand in hand, and I really have confidence in all of my pitches to throw them in any count, in any situation. I think my slider is my best off-speed pitch, and I really like to use that pitch. I have a curveball too. That I also have a lot of confidence in, and I like to, use that for more of a depth. I can also use that too, kind of like a changeup with a lot more depth, and to get hitters off my slider. And then I also have that changeup that I really like to use as well. So I think all 4 of those pitches, go together and allow me to, be my best out there on the mound.
Okay, so now you mentioned the data, you mentioned the analytics kind of behind those pitches. How much do you like to work that into your workout routine, your training? I mean, do you get tech involved a whole bunch?
I think there's a little bit of both. Quite honestly, I think that it's super important to understand, what each pitch is doing. Maybe where you want to throw it, or all those analytics. But I think at the end of the day, it comes down to, you're the pitcher on the mound, 6 feet 6 inches away, and all it comes down to is how you're going to get that batter out. And that's kind of what I like to take to the mound is that mentality of I'm gonna win this at bat. I'm gonna win this pitch, and I'm gonna do everything I can to help my team win. But I think it's also important to understand those analytics, and I've used them and I've gotten to understand them pretty well. So I think it's a good combination.
Okay. Now I want to talk a little bit about your winter, because being in Colorado, and just being on the West Coast in general, baseball starts a little bit later than folks in the Southeast and in Texas. What did you do from October through March to better yourself and grow as a pitcher?
Yeah, I'm super fortunate with a lot of the resources that I have. So I was actually here at home and traveling quite a bit as well, from here to California to Arizona. So I work out at Push Performance here in Colorado. And so from October to March, obviously I just actually got back from California. I've been working with my pitching coach in California, out in Arizona as well, throwing, working out and stuff. And so I've been able to complement all 3 of those locations, and working out, throwing, and just getting myself in the best shape for this season.
All right, so we got to talk about Coach Palmineri. LSU, Go Tigers.
That's
What was, I
right.
mean, Colorado to LSU, that's not a, those are not two things that you put in the same sentence. How did you end up going with LSU, and what are you most excited about?
Yeah. So ever since I was super young, we would always go to Omaha every year. I would, be playing in that Slump Buster tournament, but we would go as a family, and we'd always get tickets to the games. And it seemed like every year I was watching LSU play, and so I kind of fell in love with the purple and gold from a young age. And it was my dream school. So when the whole recruiting process came around and I was able to visit, and the relationships that I built with Coach Maneri, Coach Dunn, Coach Kane, it was a pretty easy pick for me to go down there to Baton Rouge. And I think I'm looking forward to not only the relationships that I'm going to be able to build with my teammates and coaches, but also just playing in front of the best fans in college baseball. That's something I'm really looking forward to. That atmosphere playing SEC baseball is something I'm really looking forward to.
Well, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring it up. This is a 2021 MLB draft show. You're going to probably have options, whether that be going to LSU, whether that be turning pro. Have you thought ahead to that decision and kind of how you're going to weigh the pros and cons of both options?
I think it's on my mind for sure. I think I'm really focused on this season, and I think some of those pros and cons, will become bigger as we get closer. Right now, I'm trying to really focus on what I can control, and that's just getting ready for the season, and being my best self out there, and trying to help my high school team win a state championship is what I'm focused on.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your best self. You've got 3 months until the draft. You've got 4 months until you potentially enroll at LSU. You've done a lot of work over the winter. What's left? What do you have still on your plate? How do you want to improve personally between now and this summer?
Yeah, I think there's always something that I want to get better at every single day. And I think the biggest thing I want to go out and improve this spring, obviously last summer and everything, we get a lot of, showcase events where we get 1-2 innings. And so I think what I'm looking forward to this spring is just going out there and being able to show that, I'm a starter, and that I'm coming at you for 7 innings and my stuff plays the same as it did, first to the seventh. And I think, there's always room to grow from, a personal standpoint, development standpoint. I feel like the best is yet to come.
Okay, so I'm going to finish this off with a question to kind of keep you on your toes. I've been to Colorado. I know that you live near Denver. It's hard to find things not to like about that area. So I'll ask you this. What's the best thing about living in basically Denver, Colorado, Centennial, Colorado? But also, because I think this is a tougher question, what's the worst thing about living in your area?
I definitely would say the best is we get about 360 sunny days a year. So it may snow, but it'll be melted, or it'll be sunny, and then the weather will change. But typically it's up, and I think that's a really cool thing about Colorado. I would say the worst thing would be, for me, I'm not a huge fan of the snow and cold. And so
Not a
we
skier,
get those
huh? You don't
3 months.
snowboard? You don't ski?
I've actually never been skiing or snowboarding before.
What?
I know
Dude,
that's
no
crazy
wonder
to
you
say.
picked LSU.
I guess you could say so. I feel like it's kind of like, I know a ton of people obviously from Colorado ski, but it's like, I feel like it's kind of similar to somebody who lives next to the beach. When, we go down there and like, oh, you don't go to the beach every single day. It's like, yeah, I don't really go up to the mountains or go skiing. I've never been skiing or snowboarding before.
Hmm. Well, we'll see when you move down to Louisiana if maybe it was a symptom of taking it for granted, or if suddenly you want to become a skier, or everything in between. But hey, Cale, it's been a pleasure, man. I really love your game on the mound. I think you've got a really, really bright future, and I think from Prospects Live and from everyone in between, I think we can all say we're rooting for you, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you having me on here. I really appreciate it.